Hello and welcome to the $1 Million Message. This is your Fearless Friday message with Callie DeBlander Brigham, calling from beautiful Pensacola Beach, Florida. And before I get into my main message today, I just wanted to say how much I am loving our special edition lip glosses right now in Confident Pink and Hopeful Lilac. Not only do I love the colors, but more importantly, I love the mission behind them, the cause behind them, the purpose behind them. So as you know, $1 from each one goes to our Mary Kay Foundation, which of course supports research for cancers that affect women and the prevention of domestic violence. And the second one, I'm so proud of our local domestic violence shelter, Favor House, who's received 4 grants so far. Every other year for 8 years. Did you know that a shelter can receive more than 1 grant? They can apply and be accepted as little as every other year. And we applied for our 5th, and so we're waiting to hear back. And if we are approved for that, it will be $100,000 that have come into my community so women and children are safe where I live. So check into that. It's too late for this year, but you can speak to your local shelter. You can go to the Mary Kay Foundation website and have them apply for next year. Get the word out. But, of course, the first branch of our foundation about the research for cancers that affect women has always been important to me, but this year even more so. At the beginning of this year, my very own sister-in-law was diagnosed with breast cancer. She has had a couple surgeries. She's doing really well. But what I decided is that not only was I going to, of course, be promoting these in respect for her and honor for her, but also that every time I put my lip gloss on, that I would pray for her. And so I just wanted to throw that thought out to you. I don't know what that might look like in your verbiage, your communication, and getting the word out about this too. But isn't that a beautiful thought, that as you are promoting these to your clients and using them yourself, that whether it hits home for one or the other or both, that could be an opportunity to pray for someone specific or just in general. Okay, so I wanted to continue our series, week 7 and then some. And this week is, of course, something we are all familiar with as far as Mary Kay's heart. And it's entitled, Make Me Feel Important. It's about interpersonal skills. How many times have you been hugged in your lifetime? Well, first of all, this past year we have not been hugged enough, right? If you're lucky, you've been hugged too many times to count, and by those who love you the most, a parent, child, friend, spouse, or loved one. But how many times in your lifetime have you been hugged, not with 2 arms, but with words? Are those memories too numerous to count as well? It has been said that the pen is mightier than the sword, and nothing could be truer. Not only do words have the power to build people up, they also have the power to strip away years of self-esteem, friendship, or the beliefs upon which lives have been built. And when we couple the power of words with the power of body language, it's easy to see how we can either lift people or lower them. Consider this food for thought. How often have you continued to type on the computer while someone was on the other end of the phone trying to talk to you? Ooh. Even though you managed to carry on a conversation, what message did you really send to the other person? When you meet someone who has mastered the art of interpersonal communication, there's no second guessing. You know it immediately. They have the ability to hug people with their words. They're all about building relationships and building bonds, and they accomplish this with the words they choose, the body language they use, and the perspective from which they approach each encounter. Being a master communicator means viewing situations from the other person's perspective. Is this a skill you are willing to strengthen? If it is, then here's what you need to know. Make people feel important. Guard against being impatient or showing a temper to others, and that includes treating both friends and strangers to this courtesy. Wow, could the world use some of this right now? Watch for and be willing to eliminate such bad habits as half listening and rigidity of body language, especially eyes not focused on the speaker, or looking bored as someone struggles to share his or her point of view. That could be Zoom etiquette right now too, right? Turn those cameras on, people. Instead, turn your face towards the speaker. Use uplifting tones of voice, and when necessary, lower your voice to signal the seriousness of the matter. High-impact words such as awesome or super certainly have their place, but if overused and used inappropriately, can quickly become empty and meaningless. And equally as important as what you say and how you say it is when you say it. Make every attempt to respond to the request of others as quickly as possible. To do otherwise says, I'm too busy to be concerned with you. Woo! We could really have weeks of conversation about this. It goes without saying that we don't intend to hurt others, but when we continue to be me-focused instead of others-focused, that's ultimately what we do. I'll give you a few takeaways here, but before I do that, I just want to share a story, one of my favorites about my mom. One of her very best friends in the whole world is National Sales Director Emeritus Kendra Crisscross. And Kendra was introducing my mom from stage one time, and she said all of her business accolades, and then she said, but on a personal note, I want to tell you about Kate DeBlander. She said they were talking on the phone one day, one afternoon, and my mom said to Kendra, what are you doing? Maybe she heard a noise or something like that, and Kendra said, oh, I'm just folding laundry. And so she said to my mom, what are you doing? And my mom says, talking to you. Wow. And that is so true about my mom. When it comes to relationships, she is all in that moment. By the way, what am I doing with you this morning on the $1 Million Message? Talking to you. So here are a couple of questions for you. When you hear someone described as being a master at interpersonal communication, what exactly does that mean? Well, I just gave you an example in my life. What are some obstacles or baggage that people must overcome to become more genuine with others? How can your business flourish with the use of strong interpersonal skills? And how can it be sabotaged by poor communication skills? Again, we could have a whole lesson on Zoom etiquette, on social media etiquette, right? On, oh my goodness, all the things that people, I think, are feeling so free to do nowadays that does not say make me feel important. So here's a few things we could do. Often we find it easier to write a note of encouragement or gratitude to acquaintances rather than those closest to us and with whom we've settled into a comfortable routine. Select your spouse, children, parents, or a sibling, and write a note sharing how proud you are of them, or how grateful you are for the many things they do that go unnoticed. Drop the letter in the mail. Don't email, but take the time to purchase a card or write it on pretty stationery. Be happy that you did this for them and not expect anything in return. Or after a team building appointment or unit meeting, spend some time reflecting on how you interacted with others. Take notes and ask yourself, what could I have done better or differently? You could create some simple dialogues you could use next time. And then lastly, is there something you could do for someone else that you've been putting off for a variety of reasons? If so, make it your goal to accomplish this task. I know many of you are so strong in this area, but we can certainly just take a moment today to work on making other people feel important. Have a beautiful day, a great week, and I'll talk to you again next Friday. Bye-bye.